Bună ziua, bine ați venit, and thank you for watching my video clips, my vlog. I watched a video, I think last week, about 12 things not to do in Switzerland, which was very interesting, very good. And I wanted to do the same for Romania. So 12 things not to do in Romania. Excuse me. Now, many British people love Romania, as I do, and I love Oltenia and Craiova. And I'm following in the steps of people who've done this before. Patrick Leigh-Fermor, in the 30s, between the wars, did a big trip through Romania and had a fantastic time. Tessa Dunlop, obviously a British historian. She loves Moldavia, got married to someone from Moldavia, lives in London, but comes back to Moldavia. Charlie Otley does fantastic films all about Romania. He now lives in Transylvania, but I think he probably has a soft spot for the Delta, the Danube Delta. Charlie Otley. Peter Hurley is an Irish guy who is a big fan of the cemetery at Săpunța, and created a walk from Săpunța to Bucharest. I don't know if he lives here, but he speaks pretty good Romanian. I think he thinks of Romania as his home now. And of course, we saved the best till last, Prince Charles, who bought part of a village in Vișcri in Transylvania, and he comes here every year, every summer, and absolutely loves his time here. So those guys are doing a lot for the north. I'm trying to do a little bit for the south. I mean, come on, Oltenia. I am half Oltenian, Oltean. And we've got the Danube, we've got the food, the plains, and we've now got part of a motorway from Balj to Slatina. So we're getting there, Okay, so many British people are enthusiastic about Romania. Now, what shouldn't you do if you're a tourist when you come to Romania? Well, first thing is you don't drink. You don't drink and drive. Don't do it. There is zero tolerance. It's the same as Australia on drinking and driving. I'm not saying people don't drink and drive when they're here, but they shouldn't, because it's against the law and you may lose your license. So if you're coming to Romania, hold back on the booze, and if you're driving, and enjoy the booze if you're not driving. There are many great wines and spirits here you can enjoy, but not if you're driving. I mean, have a think about what you could do, the danger you could do to other people. If you go to a party, don't eat too little. You gotta eat, you gotta finish your plate, because otherwise your host or hostess will be offended by your lack of appetite for their food. They'll think they haven't done a good job. So be careful in how much you take and finish everything on your plate. So don't eat too little. Don't go to bed early. That was my big mistake when I came here. I said to my wife at about midnight, oh, it's time we went, because I'm a lark. We have larks and owls in England. So larks stay up. Sorry, let me get that right. Larks get up early. Owls go to bed late. I'm a lark. I'm an insomniac, and I like to be up really early. I'm normally awake by about 5 o'clock in the morning. And we were at a party, and it was about midnight, and I said to my wife, "Oh, we've got to go. We've got to go." And we went because she was very kind to me. But after we went, the next day, the hostess brought round the birthday cake that they hadn't had time to give us because we'd gone so early at midnight. And I felt crushed. I felt so embarrassed by that we should have been there. We should have stayed longer. So if you're going to go to a party, have a sleep in the afternoon, and don't leave early because it's really bad. It's really, rude, and I was rude. So sorry, Mihaela. I apologize. Learn some Romanian if you're coming to Romania. Don't have no Romanian. I mean, can you imagine if you came to the UK and you said to someone on a London bus, "Bună ziua, ce faci?" And they would look at you like, "What are you saying?" If you come here and say, "Hello, how do you do?" They'll probably understand you. I mean, because they're better at languages than we are. But you shouldn't do it. As a sign of respect, learn some Romanian. Learn to say "Bună ziua," "Bună dimineața." Learn the numbers. I'll come to that later. But learn something so that you can at least interact. Mulțumesc, mulțumim. Learn to interact with people in their own language. It's their country. It's not your country. You can't expect people to speak English when you come to Romania. So have the respect to learn a little bit of Romanian for them. I think that's critical. And Brits are famous for not learning languages, and that's terrible. When you go to a house, they will say, "Oh, don't bother taking your shoes off. Take your shoes off." You'll go into the front porch, the doorwell. They'll say, "Oh, you don't need to take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off." There will be slippers there. There will be something for you to put on your feet. I've taken to taking my own slippers to houses when we're going for a sleepover or a stay over at some friends, because I know what fits me, I know what's comfortable, and I don't want to put them to the bother of providing me with slippers. Take your shoes off. Shoes are dirty. They come in from outside, and we don't need that. And I think it's a great innovation. It also happens in several other countries in Eastern Europe and also Central Europe. So take your shoes off. Even if they say you don't have to take your shoes off, take your shoes off, please. Taxis. Oh, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Should we do the good first? We were being driven, I think, from the park back to our house, and the guy took a wrong turning and knew that he messed it up. And we got home, and my wife is Romanian, and he knew that she was Romanian, and he said, "It's my bad, it's my mess up, what do you want to pay?" And we kind of calculated it and paid 8 or 9 lei or something, rather than the 12, 13 lei that was showing on his counter. So that was the good. An honest taxi driver. There are honest taxi drivers here. The first time I came, I think, to Romania, I got totally ripped off. But this happens everywhere. I'm not blaming Romania for this. I was going from the park to a bar somewhere, and it wasn't far. It was Cinchle. And I didn't really understand numbers. So for me, cinci, 15, 50, was the same. And I paid him 50 lei, and he thought his Christmas had come. And he didn't give me any change. And I've woken up having nightmares about that incident evermore. But that's not the norm. Check that the meter is on in the taxi if you're coming to Romania. I took a trip the other day, and the guy claimed, and it may have been true, that the machine he was using wasn't working. Okay. Halfway through, he hit it a few times and made sure it wasn't working. It certainly wasn't working. We got to our destination, and he said, 10 lei, 10 lei, which is about £2, a bit less. And I said, no. He said, Bada, it's 10 lei. It's 10 lei. And I said, okay. I want vreau bon fiscal. I want a receipt. And he couldn't give me a receipt because of course, the machine hadn't been working. So we agreed on a price of 7 lei, which was probably about the right price for the journey that we'd taken. Don't be ripped off by taxi drivers, but don't assume that all taxi drivers are thieves. They aren't. They will know from minute one that you are not Romanian if you're coming to Romania. They think I'm Italian because I speak Romanian in a weird kind of Italian accent. They know I'm not Romanian, but they don't rip me off. And it's not fair to assume that taxi drivers are rip-off merchants. If you want to get a private taxi, you'll pay more. Bolt and Uber are the two firms that run in Craiova. If you want food to be delivered, you can get food deliveries from Glovo and Tas, so they will deliver your food. If you're getting a train, don't leave it to the last minute. Buy your ticket in advance. It will be cheaper. Quite a lot cheaper, actually. You can also buy a ticket that will get you cheaper tickets, and you know, the further ahead you plan, the cheaper the ticket will be. So if you're going by rail, buy your ticket in advance. And my last video, I think I said Christos a înviat, to which the response is adevărat a înviat. It means Christ has risen, truly he has risen. This is what we say instead of bună ziua, bună dimineața, for good morning, good day. When we greet each other, we say Christ has risen, and we're meant to say it from Easter till Ascension Day, but most people don't leave it that long. They say it for a little bit and then it kind of fades away. So if people say Christus a înviat, reply with adevărat a înviat. It's true, he has risen. You won't be short of food or drink in Romania because we have what we call non-stop, or romcom, non-stop shops, 24 hours. They run for 24 hours. When it gets past the witching hour, past about 11 or 12, a little hatch will open in a shop, and you can pass money through, and then you will get booze or food or whatever you want to buy. But you're never short of 24-hour shopping in Romania. I know in England things stop at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm sorry about laughing at that. Maybe later, maybe 6 or 7. but you can't. Here you can get everything 24/7, so no problem. If it's election day, be prepared. Whether city council elections, which are normally held on the same day as general elections, they're always on a Sunday. It means that bars are closed and you can't buy alcohol from supermarkets. So basically it's a dry day to stop problems kicking off, to stop people being a bit violent. The same is true at Easter. Everything is closed at Easter. You can't. It's the only time when my earlier non-stop comment doesn't work, because everything is closed. So on election day, which is usually on a Sunday, or Easter, you can't buy any alcohol because they don't want fights to break out. Finally, if you go, I think I've said this already, but I'll say it again. If you go to a friend's house for food, fritura, gratar, barbecue, just eat, and you can keep coming back and eat more later. So don't feel you have to stuff yourself and then just give up, because the meal continues, the meal goes on, and people keep eating as long as the party is going on. And parties here go on a very long time. People are regularly transported to hospital after Easter and Christmas to have their stomachs pumped because they've been fasting, post, as we say here, and they've overindulged over the festive period. Right, well, at least 12 differences for tourists, and mistakes that you won't make if you come here. So basically, take your shoes off, eat loads, don't go to bed too early, and don't drink and drive. And on that chilling note, I wish you a very happy Easter, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye.